Hey, I'm Jon Thelen, host of Lindy's Fish Ed Television. You know, I think one of the most overlooked places in the world that you can fish on any lake is in the weeds. And you know, I think it's overlooked, or maybe it's just so intimidating that people don't want to do it because you go in there and they're hard to fish. I mean, finding the right spot in the weeds can be really, really complicated. And, you know, over the years, I've done it in a lot of different ways. I've driven through the weeds before fishing them, trying to find those holes, those inside turns, whatever it may be. And you know, a lot of times what I might be doing is just blowing the fish out of there. I don't know, but I had to go in there to find those spots. And I'd go in and I'd drop waypoints and then try to go back and remember exactly why I dropped that waypoint here or there. And you know what, it just got a little bit overwhelming sometimes. But Humminbird has made fishing the weeds easier than I've ever seen it before with the new AutoChart Live system. And I want to explain to you what that is. In the HELIX Gen 2 units from the HELIX 7 on up, you can get AutoChart Live. And AutoChart Live enables you to go out and build a map with the same quality as all those Lake Master maps that you're so accustomed to running in your Humminbird unit. And let's face it, that Lake Master map is the best map on the market. That's changed my fishing. It's changed everybody's fishing. We're all better fishermen because of those Lake Master maps. But what they've done with AutoChart Live is put some features in that, in my opinion, are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, they've changed everything I do. So let's talk about fishing the weeds, because that to me is the trickiest thing out there. So let's talk about it. Here's what they've done. When you go into AutoChart Live, and I'm gonna zoom in on a spot here. When you go into AutoChart Live and make a map, and I just made a map. It took me 10 minutes to whoop out a map, okay? And all I've had to do is grid this area out. And I had the AutoChart Live function running in my GPS, in my Humminbird unit. I'm then able to go in, and through the menu screen, I can go down to AutoChart Live, and I go into the system, and I come down here to bottom type. When I got to bottom type, I'm gonna switch it. I had it on bottom hardness while I was mapping, but while I was mapping, it was also logging other data. Let me show you what it was logging. It also logged vegetation. So when I switch it over to vegetation, I now can see the areas that had weeds while I was graphing. And it will draw it for me. It will actually draw the holes in the weeds. You can see I'm sitting on an edge right here, right over here, maybe 20 feet. I'm gonna start running into weeds as soon as I get into this lighter green. This darker green is that outside edge where the bottom content was changing and we were getting into those weeds. See that spot right there? That's a hole in the weeds. That's the kind of spot that you could park and vertically jig. Here's what's so special about this though. Now what it's done, and I'll zoom out one level for you so you can see it. Now you can see it's drawn me holes in the weeds, and it's also drawn me the weed line. So now I know where there's a turn. I know where there's a nook, a cranny, any of those areas that I want to drop my talon and then just turn around and pitch and fish. Or where I may want to drop the Minn Kota Altera, put it in follow the contour mode and just cruise along the outside edge of those weeds. You know, this AutoChart Live system has totally changed how I fish. I'm now able to make maps with the same precision as those Lake Master maps. I'm able to see bottom hardness, and I'm able to see exactly where weeds exist. I'll tell you what, it's changed how I fish. It'll change how you fish too. So if you're looking at a new unit this year, make sure you're looking at one of these Humminbird Gen 2 units for the AutoChart Live function alone. This is absolutely phenomenal, and I know day in and day out, you'll catch more fish with this system just like I am.